Hi, my name is Julia Gentin, and I will be giving a talk called Live for Today, Don't Schedule for Tomorrow. When thinking of someone who treasured time with friends and family over unnecessary thoughts of the future, I think of Zach. I knew Zach through the organization Friendship Circle, but he was a dedicated member of Spartan Buddies, Youth Drama for All, and Animal-Assisted Happiness, to name a few. Zach passed away in August at the age of 21, heartbreaking news to each person he had touched. His ability to form friendships was admirable, maintaining them even from across the ocean. Although Zach's lifespan was sorrowfully short, his legacy will result in a long-term impact. I am so lucky to have known him. Having this recent experience in my life has not only reminded me of mortality, but the growing importance of a being orientation and interpersonal ties. In my Hamlet class, we discussed America's values at the start of the year. A survey found that 25% of students personally adhered to the values of time and its control and future orientation the most. Practicality and efficiency followed close behind. However, when asked which value they thought should be emphasized in the daily lives of Americans, 85.2% of students chose human interaction. By contrast, 22.6% of students saw a being orientation as underemphasized. If only we can loosen the constraints of future and time, a more meaningful life can be pursued. One memorable event of releasing time's control occurred for me, unsurprisingly, outside of America, in Genoa, Italy. We were eating lunch with my dad's friend and her family, which ended up lasting all day. Although I remember the details of the day very clearly, when I tried to recall the time in which the events occurred, my brain becomes hazier. I remember talking, playing soccer, eating, emphasis on the eating. Finally, we left the restaurant in the late afternoon. Impulsively, the family suggested we venture by train to a beach further away. The whole outing probably ended at around 5 or 6 p.m., although it could have been later. This was completely foreign to me. We had nothing planned, and we introduced unscheduled activities. I feel like this represents one of the only days in my life that wasn't programmed. Instead of worrying about trying to appear productive or do something that would help my future, I was able to enjoy myself without worrying about time. Instead of forming rushed relationships, I felt a deep bond with the individuals who I'd only spent a day with. I'm not saying every day has to be like this. It's important to have balance. If our whole lives were structured like that day in Genoa, there would most likely be a lot of waiting. You could miss events that are important, perhaps pertaining to the health of others. It's important to weigh success and completion of tasks as well. Setting loose the prospects of time altogether could impact deadlines and end products. In terms of future orientation, the truth is that individuals who spend some time thinking about their life after high school end up being more successful. But what I've noticed is that for Americans, unfortunately, trying to value deadlines in the future is not the problem at all. Calendars and appointments program every aspect of our days, and college planning starts as young as 6th grade, especially in the Silicon Valley, where the pressure to get into prestigious college is omnipresent. For example, one of my friends planned to take AP Computer Science instead of pursuing her passion for journalism because she believed programming would be more advantageous for college in the future. Other students stack on needless APs to boost their GPAs and mourn if their elective, a class intended to bring them joy, gets in the way. It's difficult not to get caught up in this, but I assume that it was part of high school stress. And once students reached their post-high school plans, their obsession with the future would dissipate. That once I matured, everyone would realize that they should focus on a being orientation. This is not true. When attending my first college tour at Northwestern, students talked about their plans for grad school and careers and the rest of their future. I was so confused. If growing up doesn't cement the need for focus on the present, then what does? Perhaps instead of depending on your color-coded Google calendars, let your own day run its course. Not every day has to be the most productive. In fact, the ones that aren't can yield memorable experiences and deeper connections with friends and family. In releasing this pressuring future orientation, focus on a being orientation and interpersonal ties, just like Zach did. In this way, your impact on the world can be just as touching. I want students to remember that one grade isn't defining, college isn't defining, even a job is not defining. What happens in the future can be valuable, yet what happens in the present is the most important. Thank you.